For the next part, we're going to focus on redirect issues. Redirects can cause all kinds of troubles. Either the basic value is incorrectly set up, maybe the ID variable doesn't match what we need to have it called as in this scripting platform. Maybe the ID is not being piped back at all via the redirect. Let's have a look at 3 to 4 different options and how we can solve that and identify it. We're going to start with what happens if the basic code is being wrong. For that, I've already set up the CMix survey and had for our UK link the basic code, which should have been 28570 altered. We can still see here our previous test on this was successful. We had 2 successful IDs tested as well. One was for the normal test, the second one was for the data append test. And now we're going to click the test button again. We're testing without the data append. We're testing purely with the 2 ID variables which we're going to attach. And we're just going to click through and get to the end page. And here we can see an error message. That error message is saying that the basic value which we've been using is incorrect. Invalid basic value. Our system wants 28570 but got 28575. That already indicates that we are having set up our scripting platform with a wrong redirect. The basic code might be still from a previous project, which we've just cloned over and forgot to update it. But here is exactly where it would show us that this one is incorrect. Let's go for a PS ID which is not being piped through. For that, we simply close this, and we're going back to our redirects page. Now we're testing how does it look like if the PS ID is not being piped through. I've corrected the basic code on our scripting platform to 28570 again, but I've taken out the ID identifier, which is PS ID. We are clicking on the test again and launch into our test mode again. Click through our survey again and can see we get another error message. This time it's PS ID missing. And looking at the address bar, it shows us the basic code is correct, but the PS ID is incorrect. Depending on the scripting platform, this can happen because either the ID collector had not been set up. It could also be that the collector had been set up, but then for every collector, I usually need to set up a placeholder within the redirect. The placeholder in our case, what we show as an example, is PS ID with those brackets around it. Each single service scripting platform requires a certain identification. This is where the PS ID would need to go. CMix, for example, uses these types of brackets with PS ID in the middle. Other platforms might use other ones. I do know, for example, Decipher, Qualtrics, Questback, and so on. Each single one has their own way of signaling the system, hey, this is where I need to pipe the ID back to the redirect. Let's try out another version of us having a wrong PS ID being piped through. This time we did set up a collector, but we did set it up incorrectly. Let's see what happens now. Clicking the test button again, launching into the test mode, mail, let's take 5100 this time, and can see here again, transaction ID not found. This is again an indicator our PS ID is wrongly set up. In this case, looking at the address bar again, we can see the basic code is correct, but then here we have PS ID equals PS ID, which signals we've probably tried to put something in here, but we probably used the wrong placeholder for the system. And checking here our system as well, we can see it is simply PS ID rather than having the brackets around it again. Let's have a look at another option here. This time I've purposely changed the PSID to PID to see what happens if out of the two variables which we have available, which are our PSID, which is the session ID variable and which should be piped through the redirect, but we actually have the PID, which is the panelist ID, being piped through. We're clicking the test again. And can see the same thing here again. Transaction not found. We do this time see something has been piped through, but it is something else than what the system was expecting. Taking the 56257 and checking what did we actually go in with, we went in with PE_ref, and this is what the system expected back. Comparing that once again to our 56257 would mean we most likely went in with the wrong ID on our redirect. In this case, we can see here, we purposely used the wrong one. That's an indicator. That's another common mistake which can happen, that we accidentally, rather than the session ID, set up the panelist ID and try to pipe that one back to the redirect, and that will give us an error as well. Each single time we test it, we can see, was the test successful by hovering over the ID? Here the testing is still in progress, The reason that those last three are still in progress is because it did not receive this ID back via the redirect. So the system does assume that those IDs are still testing. And here we can see that the testing actually failed. That was the first one which we tried out, where the basic code was wrong. Another common mistake is that clients who have used us before on a, for example, end-to-end project or on a sample-only project, they scripted themselves and they received the redirects from our PM. In this case, the redirects from our internal sampling system to Samplify differ. Here we can see we have https api.dynata.com respondent, while our redirects which we are using on the PM managed system are dk1.surveysampling.com. So one of the other common mistakes is that accidentally the wrong type of redirect is being used. Rather than the Samplify redirects, our PM managed project redirect have been used. Let's see an example for that. Clicking the test again. Loading into the test mode. H. And can see here already again, wrong screen. This time we do not get a message which tells us something is wrong from our Samplify system, because we're not even using the Samplify redirect. In this case, we use the dkr1.ssiservice.com and the PSID is piped through, as well as the basic code is correct. But we do receive, unfortunately, error has occurred. We apologize for the inconvenience. This is an indicator that you've probably used the wrong type of redirect from our systems. If you do have any questions about any of the redirects or get stuck at any of these redirect stages, your first stop should always be question mark and go to the answers option and check for redirects and search for them, and we'll get a couple results. In this case, setting up survey entry links. We also have a specialized article, especially for CMix, which we can click on, and it will show us step-by-step guide what we need to do in order to set up the survey entry link, as well as the redirects in CMix and in Samplify. And we have maybe three redirects available for other systems as well. For example, in case you're using Qualtrics, you are able to have a step-by-step guide on how to set up the web collector and the ID placeholders within Qualtrics as well, similar to how it would be done. In case you're still getting stuck, feel free to use the ask functionality. As usual, select Samplify and let us know that you're getting stuck, and we're happy to have a look into this for you. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and we hope you found this video series helpful. Please reach out to us in case of any questions, and be sure to ask Dynata for end-to-end help with your research and audience needs.